a couple of important things which is actually not related to general concepts, but while working with the model, you always change the first on the logical side and then change on the physical side. The reason is many properties, let's say name and physical name, logical data type, physical data type, definition, comment, these are all dual properties. When I said dual properties, there is a logical counterpart and a physical counterpart for the same property. Logical side, we have a name, then corresponding counterpart on the physical side is physical name. I'll show you why I say that. If I go to physical side, and now if I change the employee supervisor table name to something else. So let's say I will just change these to supervisor. So I'm doing it on physical side. So I'm just changing the name of this to supervisor. Now, if I switch to logical side, you will find that it is not changed here, right? It is just employee supervisor. But physical side, it is changed to supervisor. This behavior is called overriding. So if you go to physical side and change something, what ERWIN thinking is that it is actually a concept of data modeling. Something if you do at a physical side, you intend to override it. So you know that logically the name of this entity is employee supervisor, but physical side you want to use some a slightly different name which is supervisor. That's why you are overriding. Overriding is always on physical side, not on the logical side. So let's say if you change something on the logical side, it will automatically reflect both. Let's say for this branch manager, I will change on the logical side. Let's say I will say I will just change this to manager. Logical side I have changed. You will find it is reflected on physical side as well. See, because physical side is always looking at the logical name, but until the moment you give a exclusive physical name, then it will not look at the logical name anymore. The link will get broken. Whenever you work on logical data type or data type name or any sort of things which appears on both logical side and physical side, you do first you change on the logical side. It will automatically get appear on physical side, so you may not have to. Most of the time you do not need to change on the physical side. So something to remember. This is same for column names as well. If you change on the physical side, it will only get changed on the physical side. So now if you want to see, let's say customer name, if you go here, let's say I will just go to physical side and this customer name. So this is the customer name column, right? So this is customer name column, and the physical name you can find is it is using a macro which is actually percentage att name, means it is getting from the logical side. Now if you override it, let's say I will just go and change this to name on the physical side because I'm going to override it. Okay, just overridden. The logical side it is going to be customer name, physical name side it is going to be name. So go there and see. Right now it is showing the physical name. Earlier it was percentage att name because you find it from logical side, and shows it right now it is not taking from logical side. So here you will find the pencil icon also appears. So this icon, this small two rectangles with a line indicates that inheriting, and this pencil icon indicates that it is overridden. It's very small, so you may not be able to clearly see that. If you want to override it, you just can click on this and say override. Then you will find, okay, oh sorry, inherit. So if you, it's already overridden. So if you want to inherit, you click on inherit. Then it will again get back to customer name. See, it just took the name from logical side. So it is the state of this property can be in a inherited mode or it can be overridden mode. So after all these changes, we will forward engineer these to SQL Server database. So I'll create a new fresh database in the SQL Server, Axis Bank, and then I'll forward engineer. Forward engineering is very important here because when the moment we create the domains, there are a couple of forward engineering options that we need to use. There is something called types in SQL Server. So let's say if you look at create type statement in SQL Server, it is there in most of the databases these days. So let's look at the one in SQL Server. So this is the syntax for a create type. Create type is nothing but we know that SQL Server has a set of data types. Open the create table statement because it is. So if you look at the create table statement, this is the syntax for create table statement in SQL Server. So here it will we will create a table and then we will provide the column definition. So here this column definition you can see here. The column definition includes data type and then a lot of other properties of the column. So if you have some columns which repetitively happen in many tables, you can create it as a type and then you can use that type along with multiple columns. So the way to create type is you create type and specify a name and then you a base from base type. From base type is actually the base data type. And then you provide nullability, precision, and all other things related to a column here. So such a way, if you create a type, then later you can associate that type with multiple columns in SQL Server. And that is the case for Oracle as well. You can create types and later associate it with multiple columns. So which is actually very similar to domains. So if you ask for entity, what is the corresponding object in the SQL Server? It is table. So we create table. For domains, do we have an object in the SQL Server? Yes, that is type. So ERWIN will try to create types for all these user-defined domains. So all these domains that we have created, they are actually user-defined domains. So it will create the user-defined types in the database. It will try to create. They are called UDT or user-defined types. So let's see how ERWIN will use them. If I just go and click on preview, you can find in the very beginning, it is creating one type called identifier from numeric 18. Then create type called long text from envarchar max. So then you will find all the table definitions. So let me just turn off the triggers. These are unwanted triggers. I will turn off. Then I'll click on preview. See, we have a lot of create type statements. All the domains that we had created, the basic four domains, string and build, they are called built-in domains. So string, integer, date, you will not find them here. But the remaining domains that we had created, you will find all of them are created as a type object. Then we will associate. See, account number is identifier, and then account opened date is date time. So it will just branch code is identifier, long text comment. So this all this has corresponding type is associated with it. So if you want it like this, no problem. It will be accepted. It will create all these object and associate. But if you do not want to create these domains in the database, you want only the maintained in the ERWIN model. But in database, you want the actual data type, base data types. Then you can do that at this level. So you can go and say column. If you go to schema and say that I want to create user defined type or not. So you say that no, I don't want the user defined type. So you say I don't want this. You click preview. So they are gone. So that user defined object creation is removed now. It will not create them, but still it uses those types here. So if you want this, if you do not want this user type to be generated, because then you go to column and say no user data type, because you have option to generate user defined data type and also to associate user defined. This will say that don't even associate them. Now you preview. These are all numeric. These are all base data types. The only thing is that this junk data type we created, this will create a problem because SQL Server say that I don't know this. But for all other columns, it will we have SQL Server data types. So where did we set the my DT? This one. Okay, I set a meaningful data type for that, and then again I'm going back to the forward engineering. So click on preview. So we have these two options when we create these domains, and when we do forward engineering, we should be aware of these two options. One is a way to specify that I don't want them generated. So go to schema and say I don't want them generated. And then you want a way to say that I don't want them associated with columns as well. So you just go to column and say no user data types. So then you will have a DDL which is without user defined data types and those associations. Now you have all the tables corresponding primary key definitions. So it will generate the create table statement. Immediately after that, it will generate the primary key column, and then it will create the primary key constraints. Column is already created here. So instead of, you could have defined primary key constraint here as well, but the syntax ERWIN generate is it will generate here. That's it. At the end, it will have all the foreign key references. So if you click on generate, it will go to the database. So you can specify the connectivity to SQL Server. Let's see whether it will get through or not. 27 statements succeeded. So there were no failure. So it means all those objects were successfully generated in this database. Okay.